There came a time when the new gods died. There came a time when the old gods died, and a new pantheon of gods rose in their place. Today we're going to talk about the strongest female new god there is, Big Barda. We'll go over everything from her origins to what the character's been up to lately in part 2 of this video, but for now, let's begin. About 250 years ago, Barda was born on Apocalypse, the daughter of a legendary warrior named Big Barda. Unlike most who are born in this world as a function of careful genetic engineering, Barda was born naturally. She is a new god, one of many beings who evolved godlike powers thanks to the proximity of their home to the source. As such, Barda's strength can be considered comparable to that of other godlike superheroes, such as Wonder Woman. Like any new god, Barda is incredibly resistant to the effects of injury, aging, and disease. A dark planet ruled by the sinister being known as Darkseid, Apocalypse was Barda's home for many years. She was separated from her mother at an early age and was given to Granny Goodness. Granny was a cruel and vicious trainer and taught Barda from a young age to ruthlessly serve their master. As such, Barda grew up learning Granny's motto, "Die for Darkseid." She was expected to serve without question, and Barda grew to accept this over time. She was outfitted with apocalyptian battle armor, increasing her already formidable durability, and was given an advanced weapon called the Mega Rod. The Mega Rod is Barda's most powerful weapon, as it is capable of creating interdimensional portals called boom tubes, allows Barda to travel through the air, and release energy blasts so strong they can take down powerful beings like Superman. Barda was also trained and given ready access to pieces of powerful new gods technology, such as mother boxes, a sophisticated computer that can do many amazing things, including the creation of boom tubes, and aerodiscs that allowed the user to move through the air with ease. Granny groomed Barda so that she might be able to join an elite group of warrior women known as the Female Fury Battalion. Barda quickly rose up in the ranks of this group, becoming the most prominent and well-regarded of the Furies. She is still, to this day, considered one of the greatest warriors in the history of Apocalypse. She eventually met Scot-Free, a mortal and son of Darkseid's enemy, Highfather, of the heavenly planet New Genesis. As part of a peace bargain, Scott was given over to Darkseid at an early age, and like Barda, Scott was raised by Granny Goodness. Barda became disillusioned by Darkseid, and chose to defect when one of her pupils, a young girl named Aurelie, was brutally killed. As such, Barda helped Scott escape to Earth, and would later leave Apocalypse herself to join him. She found Scott had become an escape artist on Earth called Mr. Miracle, and Barda began to settle into a new, more peaceful life among humans, though her and Scott always found themselves in one adventure or another. She became a good friend of Scott's manager, a man named Oberon, though they would often tease each other. Eventually, Scott and Barda became married, with Highfather presiding over the ceremony. She and Scott settled down in Bailey, New Hampshire. Gradually, however, they became more involved with the rest of the superhero community when Scott was invited to join the Justice League with Oberon. Barda was at first annoyed, but would go on to help out on occasion, and even trained a Justice League member named Fire for the team. On one mission, Barda worked with the League to rescue a captured Scot-Free from Apocalypse. Notably, Barda defeated legendary bounty hunter Lobo during the journey to the hellish planet. Another mission involved Barda's Mega Rod being stolen. The advanced apocalyptian technology in human hands corrupted a thief, and many people were killed before the Mega Rod was retrieved. Barda was also tracked down by another female Fury named Lashina, and was forcibly brought back to Apocalypse. As a result, Barda was drawn into a conflict between the forces of Apocalypse and a group of villains called the Suicide Squad. She defeated many of her former comrades in the Female Furies in a series of one-on-one battles, before being taken home by a group of new gods called the Forever People. While living in Bailey, Barda developed an interest in animal rights, and began advocating for them among the humans. Barda was then manipulated into destroying a warehouse harming animals, leading to her arrest. In prison, Barda was informed that Scott had died, but all of this was secretly part of a ruse concocted by a gaseous being known as Magna Khan. Eventually, this deception was revealed, the couple were happily reunited, and Scott broke her out of prison. They and Oberon then moved to Greenwich Village of New York City, where they were joined by Highfather as well as a new person taking on the mantle of Mr. Miracle, Shiloh Norman. Barda wound up joining a women's wrestling league in Greenwich, where her superpowers made her quickly rise up in prominence. Though the arena was closed down shortly after, Barda was so impressed with her fellow wrestlers, she began training them as a new group of female Furies. In one dark moment, a disgusting creature named Sleeves stole Barda's Mega Rod and forced Barda into a number of depraved acts. He tried to make her and Superman create a pornographic film together before Barda and the Man of Steel were saved by Scott. Sleeves was seemingly killed in an explosion. Over the years, she faced many enemies such as Brainiac, the Dark Stars, and others, with Barda and Scott often called upon when matters began to relate to the new gods. Or occasionally they were even called upon by the new gods themselves for assistance. Scott's time with the Justice League would eventually come to an end, and the couple decided to move to New Genesis after Barda met her mother for the first time. Barda fit in well in the heavenly home of the other new gods, training yet another new group of female Furies among their number. However, when Scott was transported to Earth by the Source, Barda was killed by a then-invading Granny Goodness. Upon discovering this, Scott traveled to Hades, a realm where gods go when they die and engage in eternal battle. But Mr. Miracle was only able to free her by becoming a god himself. As a result of this, Scott was banished back to Earth. Barda followed him once again, but by this point, their marriage had taken a toll. Scott once again partnered with Oberon, while Barda decided to go off with Wonder Woman to train on the hero's home of Themyscira. The couple was reunited when Apocalypse and New Genesis apparently collided with each other. The planets were ultimately recovered, but only in the form of one fused planet. Barda and Scott were instrumental in resolving the chaos among the new gods that followed, as well as reducing the tension that had developed between Scott and New Genesis. The two were now welcome back to this world. Not long after this, Barda and a fellow new god named Orion both joined the Justice League to protect Earth. In secret, the two were asked to do so by the authorities at New Genesis, after a grave threat was predicted to arrive there in the form of an omnipotent being called Mageddon. The two were on the Justice League for some time, and even upgraded the team's headquarters to better suit the standards of the technologically advanced new gods. While it happened, Barda was involved in many adventures. She was captured with others in the League by a man named Adam Strange, then battled a superpowered military outfit called the Ultramarines, and assisted Gotham during a disastrous earthquake. In Gotham, Barda and the League were involved in a battle against an invading alien army in the form of White Martians. Throughout all of this, Barda and Orion were capable heroes, but always kept some distance between themselves and the rest of the Justice League, with the true nature of their mission not disclosed to the others until it became relevant. When Mageddon finally emerged, Earth erupted into warfare, and Barda was badly wounded by a villain named Queen Bee. Mageddon was ultimately defeated by the League, and with their mission fulfilled, Barda and Orion resigned from the team. So that's it for part 1 of this video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe to Comic Island and check out our Patreon page in the video description below. Barda is an interesting character created by writer and artist Jack Kirby, and one of the earliest examples of role reversal in comics. With Barda's huge form, she was deliberately designed to be one of the most powerful of all the new gods. She's a really cool character with a lot of major creative forces behind her, which is why die-hard comic book fans tend to have a lot of respect for her. So stay tuned for part 2, where we'll get into a little bit more of her history and what's going on with her now. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.